Now coming to the next session, that is the type of settling. Type of settling, we know it is depending upon the nature of the particles and the concentration, the settling process will differ, is it? So the nature of the particle we earlier discussed, that is the discrete particles and the flocculent particles. Discrete particles will settle by its own, it will not change its properties, is it? And the flocculent particles, it will form or it will try to form flocks, or it will try to increase its size, and due to the increase in weight or size, it will settle. That is the flocculent settling, and the first one is the discrete settling. Then what is the second factor? Second factor is the concentration of the particles in that particular water. Now coming to the type of sedimentation, the type 1 sedimentation, that is the first what we were discussing, that is the discrete particle settling or the discrete settling. So in the discrete settling, we know the particle will settle by its own. Nobody want to force it. It will settle by its own. That is the discrete particle settling. And there the particular zone, in that particular zone, the concentration of the particle may be very low, but even then it will settle by its own. And second zone, that is the type 2 sedimentation. Type 2 sedimentation, that is the hindered settling. What do you mean by hindered settling? Hindered settling is nothing but when the particles are moving down, if there is a particle which is not easily settleable, but it is coming in contact with the other particle which is already moving down, or which is a discrete particle, and because of the collision between these two particles or the influence of the particle, it will try to collide. It will try to settle there. It will try to settle there. That is the hindered settling. For example, some of the students learning their lessons properly by its own, by themselves, and whereas some of the students, they need the influence of the parents or the influence of the other students. That is the that type of particles, it is termed as the hindered settling. Okay. So now coming to the next type, that is type 3 sedimentation, that is zone settling. So zone settling means in that particular zone, we know the particles which is already moving towards the bottom, the discrete particles are there as well as the flocculent particles are there. All are coming, it is moving towards the bottom, and when it reaches that zone, that means when it reaches the zone settling zone, the concentration is more than the other two zones, since it is all the particles are reached there, and because of the concentration of the particles, the large particles are there, the concentration of the particles are more, so there is no space for the particles to move easily down. So then what will happen, it will collide each other, or it will come in contact with the other particles, and it will form a flocks, or even if it is not forming a flock, it will settle by its own, because there is no other space. It will settle by its own, it will increase its weight and size, and it will settle there in that particular zone. So that is in the intermediate concentration is there, that means concentration is more than the other two zones. And then all the particles are moving towards the bottom of the tank. In that particular case, the bottom zone, that is the compression settling zone, or that is the type 4 sedimentation, that is compression settling. So in the compression settling, all the particles are deposited over and over the previously settled particle, is it? So it is compressing each layer, the top layer is compressing the bottom layer, etc. So it is compressing, and all the particles will settle there in the particular zone, and it is very high concentration is there. Flocculent particles as well as the discrete particles together will settle there in that particular zone. That is the type, all the 4 types of sedimentation. Now coming to the rules, or coming to the law, how we have to design a sedimentation tank. What are the rules governing the settlement process? So the type 1 settling we are discussing first. In the type 1 settling, we know it is discrete particles are settling there, and discrete particles, we know it is it will not change its shape or size or its properties. We are considering a quiescent tank, that means a tank where the water is stored. There is the water is in a quiescent condition. There is no movement at all. Only the particles are just flowing down, moving down. there is the water is not flowing, the water is kept in a stagnant condition in that time. In that condition, what will happen? First thing we know, the particle will try to settle down because of the acceleration due to gravity. Is it because of the acceleration due to gravity, the particle will try to settle down? That is the impelling force. That is the force acting over that particular particle, and it is moving down. Is it? And then what is it? What is the F1? That is the impelling force. How it is derived, or how can you represent F1? F1 is equal to the effective weight of the particle. Is it? It is nothing but the effective weight of the particle. That is equal to rho s minus rho into g into v. So where rho s we know that is the mass density of the particle, and rho is the density of the water. Is it? And g is the acceleration due to gravity, and v is the volume of the particular particle. Volume of that particular particle. Volume of the particle, that is nothing but we are considering the particle as a spherical shape. So the volume is pi by 6 d cubed, where d is the diameter of the particle. And why we are taking rho s minus rho? Since it is submerged in water, is it? It is the effective weight. That's why rho s minus rho into g into v. That will give you the impelling force, or the force which is acting downwards. Is it? The force which is acting downwards. Now what is happening when the particle is moving down? We know there is an equivalent force acting against or in the upward direction. Is it? Against the movement. Against the movement, there is a force which is exerted by the water. Is it? The force exerted by the water which is in the opposite direction. That is the drag force, that is Fd. So Fd is acting in the upward direction. When the impelling force, the particle is settling down. Is it? So what is the Fd? Fd is nothing but the drag force, and the drag force is given by the Newton's law of motion. The Newton's law of motion, the drag force Fd, that is equal to Cd, that is the drag coefficient, into that area of the particle, that is A, that is the projected area. Okay, the projected area of the particle, that is pi by 4 d squared, since it is a sphere again, and rho, we know it is the density of water, and into v squared by v. Vs is nothing but the settling velocity of the particle, the velocity at which the particle settles. Now before we discuss this equation, you look at this picture. Here, when the particle is moving down, when the impelling force is acting down, when the impelling force is forcing the particle to settle down, there is a drag force which is acting up by the water. Is it? The drag force is exerted by the water, and the impelling force is acting on the particle. Is it? And when F1 and F2, after a certain initial period, after a certain period, this F1 and F2 becomes equal. This F1 and F2 becomes equal, and after the equilibrium condition, what will happen? This particle will settle down at a uniform velocity, that is termed as the settling velocity. So when the F1 and F2, that is the drag force and the impelling force, both are equal, or when it comes to an equilibrium condition, after that condition, what will happen? The particle will settle down at a uniform velocity, which is termed as the settling velocity. So settling velocity of the particle, that is represented as Vs. So in the equation, it is rho into Vs squared by 2. Now the equation, we want to derive the equation for Vs. Is it? Vs, and how Vs is occurring? That is when F1 and F2 both are equal. Is it? Now we can equate both. F1 is equal to Fd, so that is CdA rho Vs squared divided by 2 equals rho s minus rho into g into v. Here we know Ss, here it is, when you simplify the equation, you will get Vs equals 4 by 3 into g by Cd into, instead of Ss, what we are getting rho s by rho. So rho s by rho is nothing but the specific gravity of the particle Ss. So in the rho s by rho, it is represented as Ss, that is the specific gravity of the particle. And then it is d. So the equation is coming Vs equals root of 4 by 3 into g by cd into ss minus 1 into d. That is the diameter of the particle. This is the equation for settling velocity of the particle in a quiescent condition. Now we know the cd, that is the drag coefficient. It depends upon the Reynolds number. Is it the drag coefficient cd? It depends upon the flow condition. The flow condition, that means how the flow condition we represent? We represent the flow condition in terms of the Reynolds number. Is it? That means laminar flow, turbulent transition flow and the turbulent flow. Is it? Three flow conditions are there, and the three flow conditions we are representing in terms of the Reynolds number, and the cd is related to the Reynolds number. That is the drag coefficient is related to Reynolds number. So how it is related and what would be the value in each flow conditions, that we will discuss next.